secret of life is to fall 7 times and get up 8 times. Paulo Coelho, a mental map guiding people through the thorniest twists of existence. A person walking on a rugged path where every step forward might stumble upon sharp stones, where failure is not a rare accident, but an inevitable reality. Falling here is not just a physical tumble, but the times when the heart grows weary, faith cracks, and dreams seem shattered. But what makes the secret of life is not the number of falls, but getting up one more time, the 8th. It's the moment when a person chooses not to surrender, like a fragile sprout persistently pushing through the soil after being buried by storms 7 times. That rising is not loud, needing no applause, but it quietly builds inner strength, making one grow after each pain. Life is thus not measured by strings of smooth days, but by the ability to pull oneself up when it seems there's no strength left. When understanding this, we no longer fear failure, for each fall is just a stroke in the long painting of life's journey. And that resilient attitude brings positive energy. That even if today we collapse in darkness, tomorrow we can still stand, brush off the dust, smile, and keep walking. After all, tomorrow is another day. Margaret Mitchell, a faint light glimmering at the end of the tunnel after a long night. It doesn't deny the wounds of the past, nor hastily erase sorrow, but quietly places a warm hand on one's shoulder, reminding that time still flows and life has never stopped. After all is after the falls, after losses that leave the heart empty, after days when it seems there's no courage left to continue. It's a humane acknowledgement that pain is real, disappointment is real, but they are not the end. And then, tomorrow is another day, opens like a door cracked with light, where the burdens of yesterday can be set down, even if temporarily. Tomorrow doesn't promise perfection, doesn't guarantee things will be better immediately, but it gives us a chance to breathe deeper, to try again, to fix mistakes, to hope, like the sky after rain, still lingering with gray clouds, but carrying the scent of wet earth and sunlight, waiting to break through. When believing in that, people learn to forgive themselves, to be patient with life's journey, and realize that each dawn is a silent reminder. We're still here, still able to start anew. That simple faith brings positive energy, helping us close the past with serenity, to step into the new day with a lighter heart and eyes still shining with hope. Evaluating oneself is much harder than evaluating others. If you evaluate yourself correctly, then you are a truly upright person. Antoine de Saint Exupéry. People are accustomed to standing at a safe distance to observe and judge others, because then we only need reason and prejudice without facing the hidden corners of our own soul. But turning the gaze inward is entirely different. It's like looking in a mirror under harsh light, where every scratch, every flaw appears clearly, impossible to hide. Evaluating oneself requires honesty to the point of courage, because we must admit things we don't want to see: weakness, selfishness, mistakes, and even deeply hidden fears. The person who can do that is not perfect, but humble enough to admit wrongs and strong enough to correct themselves. Upright here doesn't carry an arrogant or ostentatious moral air, but like a tree root gripping deep into the soil, steadfast, silent, and real. When people evaluate themselves correctly, they don't belittle themselves in guilt, nor elevate themselves in illusion, but stand in a balanced position between understanding and acceptance. That self-awareness helps us live lighter, more tolerant of others, because when understanding our own shadows, we become less harsh with others' faults. It doesn't call for judgment, but for understanding. It doesn't direct people outward, but leads them inward, where uprightness is formed from honesty, awareness, and the courage to live true to oneself. Pride and arrogance are two completely different things, although the world often uses them synonymously. A person can be proud without being arrogant. Pride relates more to our opinion of ourselves. Arrogance is what others think of us. Jane Austen. In life, the world often lumps them together, as if every display of confidence or pride carries a showy hue. But in truth, pride and arrogance stand on opposite sides of inner depth. Pride is like a warm flame burning in the heart, quietly warming us with a sense of our own value. It's the serene feeling when we know we've strived, lived true to principles, and don't need to prove it to anyone. A person can be proud, looking back at the path traveled, like a mountaineer standing high, not boasting, but silently breathing with the clouds and wind, knowing each step was sweat and perseverance. In contrast, arrogance turns outward, a shadow created from others' gazes. It doesn't stem from self-understanding, but from a craving for recognition, for winning over others. Arrogance makes people build an image larger than reality, like an empty vase that rings louder when struck. That's why arrogance isn't lasting, as it depends on praise, looks, and comparisons. When understanding that pride is how we view ourselves, while arrogance is how others view us, people learn a precious balance: to be proud of oneself without placing oneself above anyone. That realization brings positive energy, helping us live steadfast yet humble, confident without showiness, so our true value shines naturally, without noisy echoes. Like everyone, I want to be completely happy, and like everyone, that happiness must be in each person's own way. Jane Austen. The essence of human life. Everyone carries in their heart the desire to be happy, a wish so obvious it doesn't need to be spoken. Yet happiness isn't a common mold for all to step into. It's like water flowing through different rivers, some calm, some turbulent, some reflecting a clear sky, some quietly passing through shadows. What makes happiness complete isn't whether it matches others, but whether it truly fits our own soul. Some find happiness in brilliant achievements, others in a quiet afternoon, a warm cup of tea, and inner peace. When acknowledging that happiness must be in each person's own way, people free themselves from the pressure of comparison, from society's imposed standards. We no longer chase others' happiness, like pursuing a shadow that grows farther the more we run. Instead, we learn to listen to ourselves, recognize what lightens our heart, what brings the feeling of being true to ourselves. It doesn't shout to live differently, but encourages living more authentically. In that acceptance, happiness is no longer a distant goal, but small, genuine moments gathered into a life worth living, complete in each person's true sense. The moment you doubt whether you can fly, you cease forever to be able to do it. J.M. Barrie. The power and fragility of belief in oneself. Flying here isn't just rising above the ground, but the aspiration to soar beyond familiar limits, the dream of escaping fear, narrow safety, and self-imposed boundaries. People aren't always bound by circumstances. Often, the tightest chain is the silent doubt sprouting in the mind. The moment we ask, "Can I do it?" our wings begin to tremble before even spreading. Doubt is like a headwind blowing straight at the will, making us hesitate before truly taking off. What's frightening isn't failing while flying, but never daring to leap from the edge to try. For when we let fear take the place of belief, we lock ourselves in an invisible cage, safe but confining. Conversely, belief doesn't guarantee immediate high flight, but it grants the right to try, to fall, and to learn to spread wings again. Like a fledgling leaving the nest for the first time, if it doubts the sky, it will forever stay on the small branch. But if it trusts its instinct, the sky opens, even if wobbling in the wind. The greatest boundary isn't out there, but in the moment we stop believing in ourselves. When holding on to that belief, people grant themselves the chance to fly not just with dream wings, but with the courage to believe they deserve a broader sky. The meaningful things in life are not what happens to you, but what you remember and how you remember it. Gabriel García Márquez, Memory and How People Interpret Their Lives. Life is inherently a chain of events, with joy, sorrow, brilliant moments, and gray days. But the events themselves are just waves passing by. What remains, enduring and profound, is how we hold them in our minds. Two people can go through the same rain, but one remembers only the uncomfortable wetness, while the other recalls the damp earth smell, the sound of rain, and the feeling of living slower. The meaning of life thus doesn't lie entirely in circumstances, but in the inner lens through which we view and preserve the world. Memory isn't a faithful copy of reality, but a painting redrawn with emotions, thoughts, and each person's growth. Some pains, if remembered only with resentment, become burdens pulling us back. But if remembered with understanding, they turn into silent lessons supporting us forward. How we remember decides how we live. Remember to regret or to be grateful, to self-blame or to forgive. When realizing that, people learn the right to choose their attitude toward their past. We can't change what happened, but we can change the story we tell ourselves about it. It grants people mastery over life's meaning, not by controlling every event, but by nurturing memory with kindness and awareness. And when we store what's past with serenity and sincerity, life, even imperfect, becomes rich in meaning, illuminated by how we remember and feel it. It's not that people stop pursuing dreams because they grow old. They grow old because they stop pursuing dreams. Gabriel García Márquez. The concept of age and human vitality. Usually, we blame time, wrinkles, bodily fatigue to justify abandoning dreams. Flipping the issue, it points out that what truly makes people old isn't the years lived, but the moment the heart stops yearning. Dreams are like an ember in the heart, perhaps small, but enough to warm the spirit and light the path ahead. When people still dream, they remain curious, daring to try, accepting risks, and learning from the unknown. Conversely, when dreams are forgotten, life shrinks into repetitive habits, and the soul begins to age before the body notices. Age, then, comes not from time, but from resignation. It returns to people the power to master their own youthfulness at any stage of life, keeping dreams alive, whether grand or simply living true to oneself, is the way to keep the spirit ever fresh. When we continue pursuing what stirs our heart, time may pass, but the gaze still sparkles, steps still head forward, and in that unending journey of dreaming, people find the most enduring youth, the youth of a soul that never stops hoping. The only bad thing is that a person without health will never have fame. Gabriel García Márquez. The foundation of all human aspirations, fame, achievements, or status are often seen as life's dazzling destinations. But few notice that behind the glory always needs a resilient body and steadfast spirit to bear it. Health is like silent soil, nurturing every dream seed. If the soil is barren, even the best seed struggles to sprout. A person without health not only lacks energy to act, but gradually loses perseverance, clarity, and self-belief. Fame requires long pursuit, months of diligently overcoming fatigue, pressure, and failure. All demand a strong physical and mental foundation. When health wanes, even grand ambitions become fragile, like a beautiful boat without a solid hull to cross waves. It doesn't glorify fame as the ultimate goal, but reminds people to return to the most basic, caring for oneself. For health isn't just a condition for success, but a measure of life's quality. When understanding that, we learn to live slower, listen to the body, cherish what seems obvious, and that awareness brings deep, lasting, positive energy. That fame may come or not, but a healthy person in body and mind is already a solid foundation for a valuable, meaningful, and fulfilling life in the truest way. It's not the giant who is brave, but the brave who is the giant. Colleen McCullough, in Common Thought, a giant is often imagined by large stature, superior power, or higher status than others. It affirms that a person's true size isn't measured by physique or power, but by the magnitude of courage. Bravery isn't ignorance of fear, but daring to step forward despite it. A person may be small in a crowd, but when they dare stand for what's right, face failure, live true to themselves, in that moment, they become giant. Bravery is like an invisible pillar lifting people above circumstances, making them taller than the limits that once bound them. Conversely, if only large in appearance but lacking courage, that person remains small in soul, like a long shadow under light but empty inside. It's not reserved for legendary heroes, but present in everyday choices, daring to apologize when wrong, to start over when fallen, to dream when the world advises settling. Those silent moments make people grow from within. Anyone can become a giant in their own way, without needing to be taller than others, just courageous enough to live fully, honestly, and without turning from their conscience. And as courage grows, so does the person, not in others' eyes, but in the depth of their own life.